Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Lights, Camera, Sports podcast presented by Chestnut Hill Technologies. I'm your host, Mike Gualtieri. So happy to have you on board, and I'm here to give you a midsummer sports update with my thoughts on the sports world catering to New England. Well, first off, what about Jaylen Brown leaving the Boston Celtics? Am I surprised that he was traded? No. Was I surprised he was traded to 76ers? Yes. Was I surprised what he was traded for? Yes. It's all about the unknown is what is the key here, though. What was the chemistry like in the locker room within the Celtics locker room? What did they? How did they get along? Jason Tatum, with Jaylen Brown within the locker room. That's the stuff that we don't know about, and Brad Stevens and management has access to. So I think my hunch here with Jaylen Brown and the Celtics is that the chemistry in the locker room was worse than we know. And the management obviously thought, led by Brad Stevens, that the Celtics would be better without without Jaylen Brown than with him, and let Jason Tatum run this team. To be determined, obviously we don't even know too. I caution fans not be so quick to judge the draft picks. 2 first-rounders. That's going to be very interesting to see how that develops. I always love that, especially the NBA. The first-round draft picks are the key as well. So I'll give it a passing grade for the Celtics. I think it needed to be done. It's unfortunate. What's upsetting to me is Tatum Brown, that combination, I think they could have won at least one more title, right? I think we all can agree on that. One is okay, better than a lot of things. We'll take it. But, man, I think we'll look back 10 years from now and say, geez, could Brown Tatum have won one more title, at least get 2 titles for the Celtics? Okay, what else going on in the sports world? Let's check it out here as we talk about that. And that's the World Cup. How about the World Cup getting big-time ratings? Foxborough is hosting numerous matches, including the quarterfinal coming up with France and Morocco. Just really an all-around success story with the World Cup. The ratings off the charts. The U.S.-Belgium game got close to over 30 million viewers. That's approaching NFL divisional playoffs, NFL championship game type of ratings. Just an overall huge success. However, though, when we go to the U.S. soccer team, man, it leaves us a little bit disappointed, doesn't it? Wow. They're riding high coming off that round of 32 win into the Sweet 16. And then Belgium, right off the bat, folks, just continued to score goals. 4-1 final. They knock out United States in the knockout round. And this is tough because, I remember, was it 12 years ago? United States played Belgium in the same round and did not advance. So the question is the U.S. progressing? That's the bigger question. And they played very well in the group stage, but you wanted them to at least go to the round of 8 with the World Cup, the quarterfinals, to kind of leave a good taste in your mouth. And anything beyond that would be a huge bonus, being the semifinals and finals. But the round of 16, it's like, oh, man. And then especially the way they played with very little juice, kind of rolled over and let Belgium beat them, that does leave a bad taste in your mouth as an American for the American side. I don't have the answers with the youth developments. You get a lot of questions now. This happens every 4 years, folks, too. We had these same questions 8 years ago when the U.S. got knocked out. They didn't even qualify the World Cup in Russia. What is going on? How do we do better with the youth? I don't have a great answer to that, and I've thought about this. Bottom line, in America, soccer's 4 or 5 in terms of youth, the popularity of what the kids want to play in high school and regardless. You obviously have football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and then you have that soccer mix, lacrosse, in that ballpark right there. So I don't have a good answer. And then you talk about the European clubs. That's tough as well because you talk about their development. They're saying they go, age 6 and just go away and play soccer all the time. That's fine. That works well for soccer. But then my question for their side of it would be, how are those kids doing education-wise, school-wise? Because I don't know what happens when they don't make it for soccer. How will they fall back upon? I don't know. It's so strong over there in Europe without knowing the details. So I think we actually do a good job in America balancing the school part with the youth development athletic side. And then you have questions about youth sports, how much they cost. And, playing for your high school versus a private club program. And, those are deep issues. I think bottom line, USA, they have the talent, the team at the World Cup level. They just got to get it done. There's no answer. There's no more deeper answer to that. And I think we would have a much better feeling with Team USA. Of course, if they got to round 8. I think that was the quarterfinal round, which is being played right now. Okay, with that, folks, let me just go to a quick ad presentation for Chestnut Hill Technologies, and we'll get right back into it here on the Lights, Camera, Sports podcast.
Chestnut Hill Technologies is a leading technology integration and cybersecurity consulting firm based in the Boston area and owned by Boston College alum. CHT provides world-class strategy and consulting to Fortune 500 and mid-cap firms throughout New England and nationally, including State Street Bank, Fidelity Investments, Whaley Computer Associates, and Amgen Pharma. Check them out at ChestnutHillTechnologies.com. That's ChestnutHillTechnologies.com.
Okay, Mike Gualtieri back here for the closing round here of the Lights, Camera, Sports podcast presented by Chestnut Hill Technologies. Like to remind everybody, too, before we close out, how about the Boston Red Sox? Winners now, last 11 games, 9-2 record. Nice sweep of the Yankees. They're starting to make some climb up the AL East. They passed the Orioles now and not in the basement. And they're only 3 games back in the last remaining spot for the wild card playoff. They're a couple games under 500 still. I think too many teams from baseball make the playoffs. That's a different argument. But I still think now with this recent run, the Red Sox are not sellers at the All-Star break. They're buyers. And they can't give up on this season now, especially for all the injuries. You get a couple of injured players back, you can try to make a run there with the Boston Red Sox. But I really like how the Red Sox are playing. How about Fenway Park right there, getting some bigger crowds? And I think the Red Sox are going to make a little push in the second half here as they're playing really well. The pitching is good, and they have the Mets coming up this weekend, so I think they should be able to add some more wins. Of course, the Mets, the Angels, the White Sox, not the greatest teams. I think push comes to shove when they play Tampa in the AL East. That will be a big litmus test for the Red Sox. But so far, so good. They're having a very, very good month of July. Okay, we covered the Celtics, the Red Sox, the World Cup, a lot going on in the sports world. And the next couple of weeks here on the Lights, Camera, Sports podcast, we'll build up to Boston College football as they begin spring season here later in the summer. Okay, thank you so much for joining us on the Lights, Camera, Sports podcast. I'd like to thank producer Matt Hutcherson as well. Thank you so much, and so long for now. And we hear one more word from Chestnut Hill Technologies. So long, everybody.
Chestnut Hill Technologies is a leading technology integration and cybersecurity consulting firm based in the Boston area and owned by Boston College alum. CHT provides world-class strategy and consulting to Fortune 500 and mid-cap firms throughout New England and nationally, including State Street Bank, Fidelity Investments, Whaley Computer Associates, and Amgen Pharma. Check them out at ChestnutHillTechnologies.com. That's ChestnutHillTechnologies.com.